So we can have a discussion about Buddhist philosophy, the mind, or any kind of problems that you have, or the culture, or the center. Based on the questions, we can do a discussion. You have any questions?
So what age do you enter?
I was 19 when I came here. I ordained when I was 20. Now I'm 26. I was here for 6 years. Not a specific place, I would say lots of movies.
Where was your home before here?
I'm from Colombo.
What was your occupation before?
I did my studies, then I didn't do any job. I came straight here.
What was your studies background in studies?
I was studying about business studies.
What do you have any brothers or sisters, or what's your family?
Yes, I have a sister, an elder sister, and mother and father, they live back in Colombo.
See them?
Yeah, they come to visit. I do if I can.
So what's limited about how often?
How often do they come to visit? Not like very often, but like 2-3 times a year, something like that.
There's no limitations.
There's no limitations.
What was your defining moment when you decided that you wanted to come here? Was it here specifically, or you just felt that there was something higher in your life and you weren't there yet?
The decision came like this now. When I was 17, maybe 16 years old, I had the normal dreams that everybody has, I wanted to do a job, to get married, to have kids, to build houses, to go on vacation trips. I had so many ideas in my mind. But after I listened to our chief monk, he said some things and it took me by surprise. I mean, even though even looking at my parents, they had all the wealth that they needed to survive in the world, but a very simple situation is enough to make them upset. Very simple situation is enough to get them suffer in their lives. So our chief, he gave an answer to that, to get away from this suffering of life, to understand our minds and how to overcome this suffering. So that would be a defining moment.
What is the one thing that you feel like that you felt was a sacrifice in order to become enlightened?
Sacrifice. I wouldn't say that there is a sacrifice to be made once you have understood your mind. You have to make sacrifices in order to get something. But in this life, there's no sacrifices to be made. There's understanding. When you understand your mind, you will realize that there is nothing to sacrifice, as in, if that makes sense.
Yes. Thank you. So then you take a vow of silence?
No. So what is silence? What do you mean by silence?
Like just speaking, meditation, rather than...
Tell us what you do.
Yeah, tell us your thing.
Daily routine is like this. Now we wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. At 4:30 we have a chanting session, like half an hour. And then we have the breakfast at 6:30. After that we have cleaning duties, which is allocated to each and every one of us. So here we have started a campus like a year ago. So we have duties in regard to that, construction and all that. Some monks, they help with educational stuff, administration stuff. So after that we have lunch at 11:30, and then afternoon is also some allocated work for each monk. And then at the afternoon again at the evening we have a chanting session at 6:30, and then it's their own time. They can discuss, they can listen to a sermon, they can read a book, and going to bed at their own time.
Now, did the whole group of, as far as all the monks come together and decide to start the university or the educational, or Was it something that one person decided this is time we have to educate the children?
Yeah, the chief is the one who's like the leader here. He decides and we help him in order him to like make that a reality.
So it's fairly new. It's only been a year. Was this something in the process for a few years coming, or?
Yeah, there's a process of years to come.
Yeah.
The university is like a year and a half ago we started it. It's based on like it has two different faculties. We have an IT like technology students, like 150 of them, and there's like another musical students. Like they are here to learn about music. 50 more students. So altogether there are like 200 students from 21 to 26, something like that. The education, the food, the accommodation, all that for free. We provide them. So yeah, that's it. We hope to take another intake of 500 more in the upcoming years. So yeah.
So is the faculty monks or is it
No.
somebody else?
The faculties are owned by the monk, owned as in like we have registered it in the government as well as a university. So the accommodation is all in the monastery. The lecture halls, that is all in the monastery.
And the teachers,
Yeah, the teachers come from outside.
and they get paid for work?
Most of them do it like a service, yes.
And how do you get earned money to keep it going?
Our chief monk, he did sermons, discussions like this for like 10 years now, all around the world. With these people's donation, this place is up and going.
So I understand you have a YouTube channel.
Yes, we have.
What is the furthest, as far as country-wise, furthest audience members that you have? What country would you say is surprising to you that watches the channel?
I mean, all around the world, from the US to Canada to South Africa, all over the world.
But which one is the most surprising to you?
Nothing surprises me.
Nothing surprising.
Yes.
Are all maps the same for different maps with different denominations?
What do you mean?
I mean, of maps, are you all the same or you are different, I don't know, way or different? If you are Christian,
Like this now. In the culture, there are some differences that has been made but the core teaching of Buddhism is about understanding your mind. The philosophy is understanding your mind and to overcome suffering in life. So in that sense, all of us are same. But the cultures have grown up. Now it has a little different like approaches to achieving that.
so Christian denomination is the same, I mean, purpose, right? The mind for laying off the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
I'm God, you are the same God.
So
Christians, we have God, we have
Yes.
one God. And then Muslims, you have Allah.
Yeah.
Are you thinking it's the same thing, the Allah and our God? One creator for everybody.
it can be two different persons. We don't know for sure. But one thing is for certain, the message that they preach is the same. They can be two different people.
Yeah.
But not only in Christianity and Muslims, even in Buddhism, even in Hinduism, everything that they talk about, the message is the same. They can be two different persons, yes.
Thank you.
so pardon my ignorance. I'm still, trying to learn about Buddhism. But especially when I was a young kid in the United States, the vision or the pictures, imagery that we would get of Buddha were of a fat Buddha or a more round Buddha. But when I visit different countries that really practice Buddhism, there's always a slender Buddha. So if you can explain, what your thoughts about the more fuller size Buddha and the thinner size Buddha.
It is based on the culture, actually. We don't know for sure how Buddha was, but the script says that he was a slim, handsome young man, as a young person. But in different cultures, the way that it has grown for like thousands of years, Now the stories have changed. When you go to Thailand, it has a fat size one. When you come to Sri Lanka, it's a slim. Now it is all about culture.
So tell us your basic beliefs.
We believe in understanding our mind. From our childhood, we are used to use a mind. All of us use a mind to do so many things in life. From our childhood, we used a mind to learn science, learn mathematics, learn physics, learn chemistry, all that. But we never take our time to understand our own mind that we are using every day. We have not allocated time to do a research about our own mind. We always want to be happy in our life. That is the main purpose of our lives, right? To be happy. We do so many things in our life to be happy. There are so many options that you can take in order to become happy. First, we learn things, hoping that this would make me happy. Then we go on to have relationships. Then we go on and have jobs. Then we get on married, have kids, go on trips. So many different options, so many different things that we do in order to achieve pleasure in life. But when you're in this process of achieving pleasures in life, you always come across sadness and sorrow. That is a part of the process. Gautama Buddha explained a way to escape this sorrow and sadness in life. His way is to understand your desires. Understand your desires from your within. What is desire? Desire does not mean that I am attached to this clock. It is not the clock that I am attached to. It is not this clock that I am desired about. It is the mental picture that I have about this clock. That is what I am desired about. In the sense, I cannot really love a person who's outside. What I love is the imagination of that person in my mind. That is why there's problems. That is why there's anger. That is why there's so many obstacles in a relationship. That is why all of the things that are happening in the world, that there are people who take revenge, the conflicts, the wars, everything happens because they cannot understand these imaginations happening in their mind. These imaginations are just imaginations. When it comes real, when it becomes the reality, then all your problems start to rise. So what we believe in is when you understand your mind, you will get rid of this desire, then you will be a person who is enlightened. You will be a person who is not attached or either reject anything in life. You will be a free individual. That is what we believe.
So it's time for
Sorry?
How does someone know if they're enlightened?
Enlightenment is an experience. If I give you an example, let's say there's a cup of water here. Let's say that you're a person who has not drinking water in your life. You don't know what water feels like. I'm going to take a sip of water and I say, okay, this water that I just drank, when I drink it, I feel a sensation in my throat. How I feel in my tummy, how my lips felt. I can say so many things. But will you ever know the true feeling of drinking water? You can imagine so many things, but you will never know. How can you know? I can show you a way and I can show you the path to drink some water. Then you will know how the water feels like. Nirvana is an experience that someone gets. Enlightenment is an experience of someone. I can try to explain to you, but you will never know. Because from our minds, when we try to imagine something, it is always about using a mind and imagining something. But enlightenment is an experience that goes beyond that. So, even though I use so many words to explain this enlightenment, you will never understand what I'm saying about, what I'm talking about. I can show you a path. What is the path? The next question. How can I get enlightened? Enlightenment comes, you are not enlightened about anything else in life. What you are enlightened about is your own mind. Your mind is the sole creator of this universe that you live in. You, from yourself, has created so many things around you, and you attach yourself to these imaginations of yours. So when you escape this imagination, when you escape this attachment to your imagination, then you will become enlightened. How is that happening? From our childhood, this is a simple example. From our childhood up until now, we have faced upsetness, suffering in our life in one point or another. So, for an example from my life, at one time I remember the cause of my pain was my parents. I mean, like always saying, okay, don't do this, don't do that, do this, do that. So, me as a young kid, I was like, oh, what is this? So, the cause of my pain when I was a child was my parents. Just for a moment, I'm not saying that they were doing some bad thing, but to educate a child, they do things. Now, me as a child, sometimes I was angry at them. So likewise, when we grow up, when we face certain incidents when we are angry, when we are sad, when we are suffering in our mind, it is always about a person who's outside. The cause of our suffering is always a person who's outside. My partner, my parents, my neighbors, my country, the religion, the government, the politicians. There are so many people in your life, the office co-workers. But in reality, none of these people are the cause of your suffering. The cause of your suffering is the own way you think. You yourself, from your mind, create expectations, and you get attached to those expectations of yours. When you get attached to these expectations that you have, you are bound to suffer in life. You're bound to get pain in life. For an example, let's say I'm going to give you a simple exercise to do. I'm going to give all of you a piece of blank paper. It is a blank piece of paper. Then I'm going to give you some pencils and I'm going to ask you to draw a demon. You know what a demon is? A devil. You're going to all have a pencil and you're going to draw a demon. This demon has big eyes, long teeth. You're drawing on. Then I'm going to give you some colors. And I'm going to ask you to paint this demon that you drew. You're going to draw the red eyes. You're going to draw the tooth. You're going to paint the whole demon that you drew. Then I'm going to take this piece of paper and I'm going to show it to you and say, okay, be frightened, be afraid looking at this piece of paper. Can you do that? No. Because it is just a piece of paper. It is a drawing that you drew. There is no real demon there. There's a painting that you drew. You can't be afraid because you know that you are the one who created this. You know you are the creator of this demon. So you know you are the one who created this. You know you are the creator of this demon. So this exact same principle happens in your mind. Your mind creates so many imaginations. But because of our ignorance, we can't really see that these are all our imagination. We think that the demon is true. We cry looking at this demon. We get angry at this demon. We get attached to this demon. We love this demon. All of these things are happening because you cannot really understand this imagination of yours. It is just an imagination. When you realize that, if I further elaborate, when you look outside, you can see the blue sky, right? We all can see, okay, there's a sky above, which is blue. But if you take up and go and to touch the sky, this blue sky, can you do that? Can you go up and touch a blue sky saying, okay, this is blue? Is there a wall or something that you can touch? But when you're down here, when you look up, you can see that there's a sky. The color is blue. I can see it clearly even now. But if you go up, you will never meet this blue sky, which makes it an illusion. Your imaginations in your mind is also illusions. When you think it to be true, you will know that it is just your imagination. You are the one who is creating expectations, and you are the one who is attaching to those expectations of yours. When you understand this process, that is what I meant by understanding your mind. When you understand this process, you from yourself automatically will give up these desires of yours, because there is no such thing to be desirous about. Those are just piece of blank papers that you drew things and you get attached to them.
Again, with my ignorance and just learning, I always thought that the path to monkhood started when you were a youth, but today I'm learning that it can come at any time. So what is the range of the people, the monks that came in here as far as age-wise? What is the range of ages that came here from like the youngest to the oldest?
Youngest would be like 19 years old. Oldest would be, it goes up to 60, maybe 50, 55, 60.
And then
60. Maybe 50, I don't really know, 50. Yeah.
again, with the path of monkhood, say at 19, you were coming in to the doorway. What would be the process from that point to become a monk? What would you have to accomplish or go through in order to be qualified as a true monk?
So the process of a monkhood is like this. Now, if you want to become a monk, first thing that you have to do is you have to choose a teacher. You have to go to a teacher and say, okay, make me your disciple and show me the way to enlightenment. And then the teacher says, okay, you can come. So the process happens according to the chief and according to the disciple. It is to that own person. For some people, they have to stay for like 2 years to like really settle their mind into the process, into the monkhood. Some it takes like 2-3 weeks, then they're okay. So it depends on this person and depends on the teacher as well. Sometimes the teachers tend to keep the people before they become a monk to like train them for quite some time. Some teachers, they want to like quickly ordain them and teach them the ways. So it depends on the teacher and it depends on the disciple.
In your time here, have you ever seen a disciple not be able to accomplish the goal of monkhood?
Yes, there were some people, yes.
Yeah, are there steps in training our minds?
Sorry?
Steps.
Are there steps
Yeah.
in training your mind? The steps is simple. Steps is understanding. When the steps is like this. Now, when you living your life, you don't live your lives like thinking about, okay, I have to understand my mind, what is happening in my mind. No. You live a normal life. You live the normal way that you live. But when you come across sadness, when you come across this pain in life, then only you think into yourself saying, okay, what was the real cause of my pain? That is the steps that you have to take. You don't live your life thinking about inside, okay, what is happening in my mind? Am I in attachment? Am I detaching myself? Am I like, is this something that I'm desirous to? No. You live a normal life. If I am attached to this phone of mine, when this phone breaks down, if I'm feeling sad, then I know I have an attachment towards my phone. So at that moment, you have to realize that is this the real thing that I'm desirous about, or is it just this mental picture of my mind that I'm decided about? If you're really attached to this, you will accept it as it is. If it breaks down, you just have to fix it, right? No point in being sad about it.
We just have to bring more money for another phone. And then you lose everything and it's all yours to decide. Yeah, I know. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
That you understand that.
Yeah. So it is okay to be sad if you're sad, and if this phone fixed itself up. If you're sad, if you're crying, if it fixed itself up, then it's okay to cry. But nothing like that happens. You're just crying and being upset about something, but it won't fix the problem that you have. By the time that you're crying about it, you can just think of a solution and act on it. Yes.
Since you entered being a monk, did you still see your parents?
Penance?
Do you come to them during holidays or whatever? Do you still have an attachment to your parents?
Parents. I don't have no attachment to my parents.
So when you enter being a monk, you detach from everything.
No, it's like this. After listening to our chief monk's sermons for quite some time, I understood that what I was talking about. Attachments. That I don't really attach myself to my parents who's outside. What I'm attached to is these mental imaginations of myself, of these parents of mine. So I understood that. I really understood it. When I understood that, now me being attached to my parents is like thinking about them all the time, worrying about them. No, that doesn't happen anymore. They call some time to time, I answer, and it is not like I'm neglecting them or anything. If I have to do something for them, I'll do that. So otherwise, there's no worrying in me about my parents. No.
What was their original reaction when they found out you wanted to become a monk?
They was a bit sad, bit angry, I think. Because not because of the decision I took to like be a monk, but they thought that I had some alternative motives or something like that. I mean, like I couldn't. They never thought that I can be in a path like this. That I'm not suitable enough. So many ideas came to their mind. So yeah, at first it was like quite hard for them. Now I think they're eased into it. So when I said that I'm going to become a monk, their reaction was something that helped me to take the decision as well. Because now they raised a kid for like 20 years, for 19 years. If suddenly I take a decision and they are like so sad, they are so angry, they are so mad about it. So I thought from myself, even though I did the same thing for like 20 years, if I brought a kid up, if I get attached to the person that much, and then if something that happens, I am also face the same situation. So that incident itself helped me to like take this decision, because I understood that they have dreams about me, they have expectations about me, they're attached to these dreams that they have about me. That is why they suffer. So for me, it is totally different. I'm a person who's living life. I don't have no expectations about you guys. I don't have no expectations about this outside world. But I have dreams. But I'm not attached to those expectations and dreams that I have. So, like you said, in our daily lives, in the university, I have to teach kids English. I play a role in teaching English. So I set targets. I said, I have expectations. I have dreams to make these kids, to see these kids teaching, like not teaching, talking good English. But the end result is not something that I am having an idea about. Like, I'm not attached to the process. I just do the process. I don't really have any expectations about the outcome. It's okay.
So how do you become a chief monk?
How do you become a chief monk? It is like age doesn't really matter. So for to take on to take new disciples in the culture, it says that you have to be a monk at least 10 years. So other than that, you can be a chief monk. The chief monk is like when there's a temple, if the temple has only one monk, then he's the chief. So to take on disciples, then you have to be in this monkhood for 10 years. Then only you can take a disciple.
Do any monks marry now? Or
Marriage is something that Japan, in some parts in Japan, that they take marriage in monkhood, but not in Sri Lanka and not most parts of it.
can you leave being a monk anytime you want?
Yes, you can.
Also about the women.
Nuns.
Yeah. No, how's their life and how do they interact with you?
Yeah, they also, yeah, they share some responsibilities. They also go in the same process, like they have to wake up in 4 o'clock in the morning. They have the chanting sessions. We do it separately, but the process is the same, and the understanding is that the teachings are the same for both of them, because we all have a mind. Understanding your mind is the process of both parties, whether it is a female or male. You have a mind. When you understand, when you are attached to things, you get sadness, even though whether you're a boy or a girl. But when you understand this process, enlightenment is also something which is possible for men and women. So yes, the duties changed. Duties are changes. We have like 25 to 30 monks here. We have like 17 or 18 nuns.
Now, as a child, I'm sure that you had your own perception of what being a monk was. Has that changed as an adult?
Yes.
Awesome.
So for me as a young boy, before learning about this place, monkhood is like a very, it was different. Different how, as in like, how can I say it? There was the mental imagination that I have of a monk is like very simple life. That has to be a monk, without wearing any slippers, without like living in a jungle, doing meditation under a tree. So that was the imagination that I had of a monk. So when I grew up, I understood that that is not really the teaching of Buddha. It was something else. It was like understanding your mind. It is not the rituals that you do, then you get enlightened. It is understand your mind, then you get enlightened. So that has changed. The desires that a person has, even though, let's say there's a person who has many materialistic things, he has all the things that he wants. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's a person with desire. Let's say there's a person who has none of these things, he has nothing. That doesn't mean that he has no desire. There can be people with all the things that doesn't have any desires. There can be people who have none of these things and be very desirous. So the desire is something that happens in your mind. It cannot be shown in the materialistic things that you own. Understanding is what matters.
That's what we eat to work, and he fixes the food with yours and those.
Yeah, we fix our food ourselves. Yes. Sometimes the people from the outside, they can bring food in and share it with the monks and the people who are living here. Other than that, we cook our own meals here.
Typically, what is the most?
What is it? We eat everything. I mean, from rice to noodles, and yeah, so many different things.
We only eat 2 meals a day.
Yeah. Sometimes if we do construction work and some hard work, we take dinner as well. Yes.
What is the average age in your society?
In our group. From 30 to 35. 30, yeah.
What is the plan in the event that you are going on retirement? Is the group still supports you when you go already old and able to do some teaching in my work?
There's no specific retirement plan. It's like some monks, they get treated well. Some they live in temples.
Parents or the government?
No. They'll be taken care of by the society. Any more questions?
Because as you age, your capability to do some teaching also decreases. So the other members of your group is going to support you.
Yes.
Like for example,
Okay.
on the Catholic religion, there are so many priests now that are going back to the family because they retired. So they need help.
Mm-hmm.
So what is your vision towards that? We all get on.
Okay. They get retired and they go back to their homes because they don't have support.
Yes. They were assigned some parishes. The parish is not also that rich because of that support them. Because when you get old, there are a lot of yes, diseases that goes to them. They need medication. They need
Yeah, I understand.
take care of them.
Okay. So, in the Sri Lankan culture, that is not a common thing. Leaving the monk when they are old, like because they don't have support. But in the society in Sri Lanka, they have support. The government support, it's the medication and all that for free, and every hospital has a different ward for monks. And in any village that you see, you can go to a temple and just live. There people will give food, medicine, all that. The society itself helps a lot for a monk.
So monks, they stay in monks their whole life.
Yeah, most of the time, yes. Yeah. Most of the time, yes.
In the
Is your government sponsoring you or giving you support?
Not in this place, but some places, yes.
So you go out and do you wait until people come to you and want to be a monk? Or do you go out and preach or recruit or?
Yeah, we do like these sermons, these kind of sermons. If a person wants to be a monk, then they can just come and say, okay, I want to be a monk. That's how that works.
How old were you when you
I was 19. I was 19.
you weren't? Oh, okay.
And where's your home? Where do you live? Here, do you live by?
Here?
No, yes, here.
Yeah, we live in the monastery.
Oh,
It is like a, yeah, we have our own rooms, yes.
we share a room, or do you get your own room?
We have our own rooms, yes. Any more questions?
TV in your
TV? No. I have a phone in my room. I have one laptop. Sorry? Yeah, we have entertainment. As in, like, we watch movies and stuff.
Are there monks that decide they don't want to be a monk anymore?
Yeah, there are.
Can they ever come back?
Yes, they can. It is important to the teacher and the disciple. If the teacher decides to give him another chance, then he can have another chance.
I know that you try to stay away from suffering, and monks in general try to stay away from suffering. So with that being said, I know that y'all have a YouTube channel, but do y'all have social media accounts, or is that like not?
I have social media. Yes.
You just control?
What do you mean staying away from suffering?
Well, because probably it's my newsfeed, but when I turn on my social media, there's a lot of suffering going on, and I just turn it off.
Okay.
And so I was just wondering if you know, if you were exposed to this.
So suffering is like this. Suffering is, if someone's suffering is not because, like I said, it is not because of things are happening around you. It is because of your own mental imaginations. It is because of your own expectations that these things should not happen.
If you see things like war.
Yeah, I see things like war, but I don't feel any pain or suffering. There are wars, yes. Wars was happening not only now, for like all monks were like mankind, there was wars. Yes. If there's peace, then there's war. We can't stop this process.
So,
So if you, once your grandparents pass away, would you be sad or
If you, sorry, can you repeat the question?
if your grandparents pass away, one of your parents pass away, would you be sad or it was not?
For now, I think it doesn't matter because my parents are both living now. If someday when they die, I'll know for sure.
Will you be sad? I said, no.
Yeah, for now I can say no because now if they die, I don't.
I didn't experience.
Yeah, I have not experienced it. My grandfather died when I was a little kid before learning any of this. Everyone around me was crying. I tried to cry, because everyone was crying. Then I fake cried and to join the group. That is how we all get attached to them. That is how we get on these habits of ours. We're not really sad and crying because our parents or anyone dies, because that is what we see from our childhood. When someone dies, you're supposed to cry. You're supposed to be sad. Think of a world that you live. Think of a place. When someone dies, it is an party. Everyone is happy when someone dies. Okay, he has passed away. If we live in a country or if we live in a society like that, will we ever be sad? No, that is what from our childhood, that is what we see. Okay, someone has passed away. He is going on to a beautiful place, or it is the end of his, or something like that. The concept is when someone dies, it is a question to be really happy. That is how we grew up. If that is how we grew up, we will never be sad of our parents or any of our loved ones dying. The process that we know happens if someone dies that which is close to us. You are supposed to be sad. That is not the reality. It is just your habits of yours. That is what you see in this world. That is not the reality. Me as a very young kid, I was like maybe 7, 8 years old. I looked around. I can see it very clearly now. I can revisit the situation. I looked around and I saw everyone crying. I wanted to be a part of it, to join the group, but I couldn't cry because I wasn't feeling it. But I frankly cried, not to deceive anyone, just to join the group.
So what are your beliefs of an afterlife? What happens with the dying?
If there's a person who has desire, if there's a person who has not understood the desires that they have, they will be reincarnated. They will have a rebirth because there are things that he wants to do. But if there's a person who has no desire, if there's a person who has understood their mind and become enlightened, then that person has nothing to come back to. Then there is no person as such when you are enlightened. So that person will not be reborn.
What happens to?
So
What happens if they're not reborn?
drink some water.
No, what happens if they're
Yeah,
not reborn?
I cannot say it in words, They cease to exist. They will lose the I as in the ego. Then there is no person to be reborn.
Is that they're going to live or it's
Yeah.
here?
No, that is nirvana. That is enlightenment. You can call it heaven, you can call it moksha, you can call it in so many words. There are so many words.
So tell us about reincarnation, your beliefs on that. Like, you're reincarnated to
And it's come back on person?
persons or a higher being than what you are.
It's like this. Now, according to your desires, according to the mental imaginations that you create in your lifetime, according to that, you will create your afterlife. Let's say you in your life, you did good to other people. Then that good will come back to you in your next life. It's called karma. If you do bad to people, that bad will follow up on you and you will have the exact same things that you did to someone repeated on you. That is for a person who is not understood their minds. That is for the people who has desires. For a person who doesn't have desires, like I said, he will cease to exist and he will have no reincarnation.
So what is Buddhism's best teaching?
Not to expect the things in your mind and from the outside world.
In mind.
Creations in your mind are just things in your mind. Do not expect anything from the outside world. When you expect the things in your mind from the outside world, it doesn't happen the way you want. Sometimes it does, but the most of the time it doesn't. So don't expect the things in your mind from the outside world.
For example, you said about pain. You said that you don't feel pain. Supposing you're sick, really, really sick, you are really in pain. Are you gonna feel it?
Yes,
You can't.
I can feel it.
You can't.
Yes, I am feeling it sometimes.
But you don't get sad because
Yeah,
you understand.
the pain that the person gets comes in two ways. You have the body pain and you have the mental pain.
Yeah. Like,
The body pain, everyone feels it.
yeah.
If you have a cancer, or if you have fever or something, you have the sickness. You're feeling it. For that, you have to go to a doctor and get medicine to overcome that.
Yeah.
But if you suffering from that same disease, that can be resolved. That can be solved from a philosophy, from a teaching like this. Let's say there's a person who has cancer. To overcome cancer, he can take medicine, he can go on to see a doctor and take the medicines that they want. But if the cancer patient's pain is like this, his mind will amplify it 10 times more because he cannot face the society, he cannot face his parents, he cannot face the people that he wanted. He is afraid to leave the loved ones behind. He is going on in lots of mental pressure from himself. That can be overcome from this teachings of Buddha and teachings of like the teaching about enlightenment. That can be overcome. His body pain will be there.
Pain more.
Yes. Any more questions?
When a mom dies, are they buried? Are they cremated? What?
Sometimes it depends on the society, depends on the person. Sometimes they get buried, sometimes they get cremated. There's no specific way. So,
Or you don't have a specific cemetery or?
no. The normal cemeteries. Yes. So it was. Do you have any more questions? Okay. So it was nice meeting you all, and I'm really happy. I'm really glad that I get to meet you all today. And I wish you all for your future endeavors that when you go back to your country, I bless you all to have a great and happy life in going forward. And it is said in all the world that the blessed cinnamon, the greatest cinnamon, grows near Sri Lanka, in the southern points. And we have made a cup of tea, cinnamon tea for you guys. And the cinnamon is from this place. We grow cinnamon here, and it has no added sugar. So you can enjoy that tea as well. And thank you again.